Hey, namaste, I'm Kay. This is Ecstatic Self. I'm following up on yesterday's video on intimacy by talking a little bit more about boundaries and how we can healthfully cultivate them. So I want to walk us through a meditation to help us establish better boundaries. So go ahead and close your eyes or look down at the ground in front of you. Now for this meditation, feel yourself just settle into your body, relax. And I want you to visualize yourself standing in the middle of a wide plateau, lots of open space around you. You are the center point. And about 10 feet out from you is a white circle on the ground made of chalk. Surrounding you 10 feet out, you're right at the center. And I want you to imagine that growing out of this white chalky circle is an invisible wall. No one can see it. No one can go through it unless you invite them. And then about 7 or 8 feet out from that is another wall and another chalk circle on the ground. And another good 6 or 7 feet beyond that. And another, for good measure, another 6 or 7 feet beyond that. So you're in the middle of a few concentric rings of protection. These are your personal boundaries. And the people in your life are going to exist between some of the walls. So I want you to imagine in the distance, walking up towards your walls, your boundaries, is a person in the distance. And I want you to imagine that this is somebody who is an acquaintance. Maybe somebody you see at the gym, or someone that maybe you know from work, but you don't really talk. You're friendly with each other. You know each other's name, perhaps. You say hello, but that's about it. Let them walk up to the outermost circle, the outermost boundary, and wave at them. Now, these walls are invisible to all the people approaching us. They're really just for ourselves, but we have the power to shift people or to let them exist in between one wall or behind one wall or another, and they don't even need to know. But this outermost circle are our friendly acquaintances. They're actually important to have. A lot of times we think, oh, they don't really matter, but for our mental health, we need to have people of varying levels of closeness. And so this is an important level for our mental health, just friendly acquaintances, people we don't know very well. Now, out of the distance, I want you to see another person walking up. And this time as they approach, I want you to lower the outer wall and allow them in one circle. So these are our friendly acquaintances. These are the people who maybe we know each other's kids' names, we know their partners' names, maybe we collaborate together at work, maybe we've gone out for lunch a time or two, but we don't really share intimate details, right? Like they don't know your struggles, they don't know your hardships, they probably have never met your parents. They might be borderline friends, but really good acquaintances. Maybe you'll send them a card for their birthday. And again, they're happy to be where they are. They don't need to be more intimate in a closer circle. They are where they are. I want you to imagine another person approaching from the distance. And this time, I want you to let the 2 outer walls fall. Let them get a little bit closer. So now there's only 2 walls separating you and them. This would be somebody who we consider a friend. This is somebody who you go to their kids' birthday parties, maybe you've taken a trip together, they've probably met your parents or heard stories about them. They've probably heard some embarrassing stories about childhood. You've shared some fears, some hopes, some dreams with them. But they don't get to know everything. They know still a very social part of you. Now, a lot of people, our friends, largely exist here in this area. They know some stuff, but they're not the closest ones. But they're still really important to have. They flesh out our social life, they make us feel valid, they make us feel like we're a part of things. And they're happy to be where they are. And then you've got another person coming from the distance, and this time 3 of the walls drop. They walk right up to the wall separating you from them. Smile at them, wave. These are your very close friends. These are the people who maybe you grew up with, or you went to college with, or you both survived a tremendous ordeal together. You've shared significant experiences in your life. Maybe they've held some of your greatest fears, your greatest triumphs. Maybe they've been with you in moments of elation and moments of deep sadness. But you are journeyers together. You've explored life together. You're meaningful in each other's life. If we're lucky, we maybe have 4 or 5 of these type of people, or maybe even just 3. And then there's somebody else. One more person. And for this person, all the walls come down. They get to walk right into the middle with you. This is one of the very rare people who get to see all of you, who get to learn and hold every aspect of your wonder and your majesty and your might and your fear and your childishness. They know all your stories, they've seen all your secret hurts, and they love you no matter what. If we have one person in our life, we're lucky. If you have 2, maybe even 3, you're exceptionally lucky. A study released, or a poll released by YouGov, showed that something like a staggering 40-some% of millennials said that they have no best friends. They have no true intimate connection. Now, I want to point out that none of these levels are inherently better or worse. And depending on how somebody acts, you might shift them back or forward a level. If someone's betrayed your trust, maybe you shift them back, put up a couple walls for a period of time at least. But there's nothing inherently good or bad about being in level 1 or level 5. It's just, they are where they are, and we need a spectrum of these kind of relationships to be whole and healthy. And we need to have personal boundaries. Notice how I qualify these boundaries is about what are you willing to share? What are you willing to impart? Not everybody deserves to hear your whole story. Not everybody deserves to know the entirety of you. And a lot of people confuse vulnerability with oversharing. Now, the way I describe these people are very much in a platonic way, but we can approach these same boundaries with someone romantically. So invite all of these people to disperse and imagine all the walls going back up. We can do the same thing with a more romantic experience. Imagine somebody walking up, and this is somebody who maybe you're going to go meet up with tonight. Maybe it's a date, maybe it's a hookup, whatever. But the first level of intimacy is just saying, do you even want to be in this person's presence? Do you like their vibe? Do you like how they look? Do you like how they smell? If the answer is yes, then you can lower that wall and let them step closer. Now the question might be, do I like their touch? Do I like their arm on my hand? Does it feel good to be in their presence more intimately? Do I make deep eye contact with them, and does it feel supportive? Does it feel like the experience I want? Are they listening to me? Now this is where consent comes in, wild, enthusiastic consent, that I need to have an enthusiastic yes from both parts before another wall comes down. And if it's not a wild, enthusiastic consent, then maybe you ask them to back up and give you more time, or to give you more space, or say, I don't think this is what I want. But if it is a woo, yeah, then maybe the next wall comes down. Maybe it now involves intimate touch, caressing, touching each other's genitals, intimate kissing. Maybe some sort of masturbatory play, or even light oral sex. Maybe then another wall comes down if everything's still feeling good and you feel appropriate and this is the decision you want to make and you want to be vulnerable and connected with this person. Maybe then it moves into penetrative sex, or a type of penetrative sex. And maybe that last wall for you is a specific act, or truly allowing that person to merge with you in body and spirit, to drink them in literally or energetically. And again, it is always your right, whether platonic or sexual, to ask someone to please back up or to please come forward. They don't even need to know that you're shifting them in boundaries. You don't always need to vocally do it, but you need to with yourself. You need to say, this is where I'm comfortable. This is how much I'm okay exposing. And just think for your own life, where would you have liked to have kept people in your life? In which boundary? In which circle? I read recently that in Arabic there's like 13 or 16 different words that describe different types of friends. That there's a gradation, a friendship pyramid. I wish we had that same gradation of friendship categories in English. Come back to your body if you haven't already. How'd that feel? Hopefully this gives you some language and some tools around how and what and in what ways you allow people in, and also give you a visualization about how close you want to let people get to you, energetically speaking. I'm sure we'll be talking more about this, but hopefully this is a new tool for your toolbox. I'm Kay. This is Ecstatic Self. Thanks for joining. Namaste.